Good morning and welcome to Newsroom on GHOne television. I am Serwaa Amihere. Let's begin with our top stories. I'm telling you, Kanye, you put me. Small-scale miners questioning decision by labor unions to go on strike after TUC's expired ultimatum for government to ban small-scale mining and declare state of emergency. Also coming up, opposition NDC raises concerns about the Electoral Commission's IT system vulnerabilities, despite accepting provisional register for audit. But the EC insists that the electoral roll is largely credible. We'll have a conversation very shortly on this. Also coming up, looming health risk as Agbogloshi market reel under serious sanitation crisis. And later in business, Atlantic Lithium bemoans delays in ratifying agreement in lithium lease saga. Later in sports, CAF approves Accra Sports Stadium to host AFCON qualifier, between Ghana and Sudan. We have details of these and many more coming up shortly. Do stay. Again to Newsroom on GHOne television. I am Serwaa Amihere. Now this morning, almost all workers in Ghana will be laying down their tools in 8 days following government's failure to meet demands by organized labor to end the Galamsey menace. The strike, which is to begin on Thursday, October 10, follows a notice by organized labor for government to ban all forms of mining by September 30. However, after hours of a crunch meeting following the expiry of the ultimatum to government on Tuesday, the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, told journalists that they have no choice than to use the industrial action to press home their demands.
Organized labor met at an emergency meeting today, October 1st, 2024. Following the expiration of our deadline and the failure of government to meet our demands on illegal mining, that is Galamsey, organized labor has decided to declare a nationwide strike with effect from October 10th, 2024. We are therefore calling on all workers to stay as the October 10, 2024 until government accedes to our demands. Solidarity, solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. It's a strong.
Meanwhile, the president of the University Teachers Association of Ghana explained the two main political parties have also failed to sign a pact to commit to ending the menace. Professor Mahamudu Akudugu again said that government has also failed to revoke the legislation on small-scale mining and from the forest reserves.
Told that they would engage with other stakeholders as well, and then get back to us within a week to tell us their decision on the demands that we had made. And we added some two further also demands, one being the fact that the political parties will sign a pact committing to the cause of eliminating these destructive activities that are being carried out across the country. And the other one, the revocation of the law that permits mining in the forest reserves, and also the need for special court to be established to prosecute people found engaging in these activities. Can we talk since moment? So those were our demands, and they said they felt that we had a case given the destructive nature of the activities, and that they were going to engage with other stakeholders and get back to us, and that was the end.
Well, the Small Scale Miners Association has reiterated their stance to condemn calls by civil society organizations for a blanket ban on mining. They are questioning the motive behind organized labor's decision to strike if the government fails to declare a state of emergency on mining and put a ban on all forms of mining in the country. Let's have a conversation. Michael Kojo-Pepra is the president of the Small Scale Miners Association of Ghana. Mr. Pepra, thank you very much for your time. I have seen what you have said in the past. You were against labor unions' call, but as an association, are you not worried about the devastating effects of Galamsey and where we are now as a country?
As a Ghanaian, we are all against the destruction of our various forest reserves and the polluting of our various water bodies. You know, we cannot destroy this country and then travel outside and then leave Ghana behind. So the destruction that is going on at small-scale miners, we are really against it. And we are only praying that the right thing is being done. So the distraction is a worry to us. And as an association, we have shown enough goodwill to help government to combat this activity of illegal mining.
Okay. So if you are against trade unions or labor unions' decision to strike, what then do you advise government to do to fight this menace?
As a matter of fact, the problem is about enforcement. You know, the blanket ban was in action in 2017 to 2018. And let's ask ourselves, what was the outcome after the blanket ban? There were nothing like an enforcement, and government was not able to integrate any better procedure or processes in trying to salvage the situation. Yet again, organized labor is calling for the same ban, and the problem is about enforcement. The security agencies, you know, that are mandated to make sure the right thing is done are under-equipped. So if there is anything, I think we need to understand that Galamsey is different from small-scale mining. And we need to also understand that mining in the various forest reserves is illegal mining, in the sense that no law permits anybody without a ratified license to mine in the various forest reserves. So that is a fact. And secondly, there is no law in this country that permits one to mine in the various water bodies. So if indeed we want to distinguish, or if indeed we want to solve this problem, it means we need to tackle the problem as it is. By placing a blanket ban on people who have gone through all the necessary procedure, gone to the bank to acquire loans, and they are doing the right thing to be banned, that is where we have an issue with. Because one way or the other, even after the ban and there is no enforcement, we will still come back to the issue. So we are only pleading with organized labor that indeed there is an issue. There is an issue that borders small-scale miners. That is a worry to us as well. So if indeed we want to get the necessary solutions for the problem, we need to be specific in a sense that no law allows a person to mine in the various forest reserves. No law allows the galamseys to mine in our various water bodies. So if indeed we want government to ban illegal mining, then it means we should be specific in a sense that mining in forest reserve can be banned, and we support that. Mining in the various water bodies, we support the ban on those things. But if indeed we really want to salvage the issue, or we really want to solve the problem, then we need to be specific. Small-scale miners are not galamseyers. So if indeed they are calling for a ban,
but Mr. Pepra, there are reports that
companies.
Mr. Pepra, there are reports that suggest, from certain quarters that some of your members are actually engaging in galamsey in other areas and using the fact that they are small-scale miners to cover it up. Is that the case?
I beg to differ in the sense that anybody that mines in the forest reserve is illegal miner. So the law frowns on that. The only thing we need to do as a country is to enforce the law.
Are there members of your group who are doing illegal mining?
Anybody that do illegal mining is a galamseyer. So we don't have small-scale miners, legitimate small-scale miners who are galamseyers. Anybody that goes in contrary to the law must be punished. So if indeed we want to, solve this problem, those corporates should be dealt with. Because placing a ban, are we not going to use the same military to enforce the laws? What happens to the Operation Vanguard? When government inaugurated the Interministerial Against Illegal Mining and they brought about this Operation Vanguard, were we able to solve the problem? They were indulging in corrupt practices. That brought about the collapse of Operation Vanguard. You were here when government as well inaugurated the Galam stop, and then the other ones as well. It collapsed in a sense that we were not able to salvage the issue. We need to understand this is a socio-economic problem. And as a matter of fact, people are engaging in galamsey, and we need to bring about proper solutions. So if you are calling government to place a ban on legitimate Ghanaians who have acquired loans to work, then we beg to differ. We are calling organized labor that we support their call in trying to protect the environment. But in so doing, we need to be circumspect in letting government make decisions. Placing a blanket ban on our work will not help the sector. In a sense that now gold sector is the only sector that is holding this economy. Now the oil sector is down. Now the cocoa sector is down. Now the timber sector is down. So the only sector that is giving government enough revenue is the gold sector. So if indeed there are lapses, there are problems that we are being faced on, why don't we at least sit down with government and make sure that we will bring about a plan that can easily solve this problem than to, pressure government to place a ban on small-scale mining.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Kojo Pepra. He's the president of the Small-Scale Miners Association, and they are totally against organized labor's planned demonstration, or strike, I should say, which is supposed to happen from the 10th of October. Mind you, actually, it's time for social media, and we'll be looking at what people are saying on social media with regard to organized labor's planned strike. And mind you, tomorrow there's actually also some demonstration that is starting in protest of the 52 protesters who have been detained by the police. Mrs. Akwa is standing by with all the Jews on social media. What have you got for us?
Good morning. Well, people are angry. People want to understand why organized labor are going on strike very well, and some people are disagreeing with what they are trying to do. When we move over to Facebook, we have Collins who says this is a needless strike. MPP and NDC have combined to destroy our water starting, he says, from 2012. It's 2 months to election. Go and vote against them and give another party or person a chance. If you can't change your voting against the people that have destroyed the country for 32 years, then you don't mean business, as you say. He says, vote #Nana Kwame Bediako. Thank you. Then Benny Frimpong says, if they really want the demonstration to be effective, they should demonstrate in the Galamsey areas across the country. They shouldn't show up in Accra because Galamsey doesn't happen in Accra. Mark says that the police should start arresting the chiefs who are quiet on this matter. Robert adds, it's a concert. Don't let our salaries be blocked. Demonstration is not necessary. We should sign an agreement with the parties to commit themselves that whoever wins the election should be given an ultimatum to ban illegal galamsey earlier next year. When we move over to Instagram, Ivy says, let the strike begin. Then we have here Rekiaba, please, I will go to work. Why? Madam Abana says 10th is too far now. Then Chelsea says settings. Why not tomorrow? We also have Emanyaka. Yeah. They think this one will be like SNIT. I won't follow someone's political agenda and stay at home. Did they share their political money with me? He's asking there. We move over to X and we have Bryony. Simple. Cra. Mami Essie says thank you. And please, can you join the demonstration? I think she's asking how to join it. Then we have Barack. We will be at home at long last. Who will suffer? Then we have Pressure. Thank God organized labor is not corrupt and hypocritical like the National Peace Council. Well, that's what you had to tell us. So that's what we have time to tell you. You told us on social media. Continue to send us your messages on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Serwaa, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Akwa there. And let's get into our election hub now.
GHOne OV van has been one of the best vans I've used personally in this country. It runs a system where we are able to run on Dante to be able to do our broadcast mixed well also from this van.
I've used this OB van for quite a number of big productions, i.e. 3 music awards, the late President Rollis' state funeral, Emmys Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICCU, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience who are also watching on TVs and online, work with an Exo technology system which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts.
I prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge but very affordable. Cost is really affordable. My experience with it, EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
To buy that prepared, you got to input your own preferred 5.
On Election Hub, the largest opposition party, the NDC, has accepted the EC's promise to release corrected version of the 2024 Provisional Voters Register to political parties for scrutiny within a week. Now, this was after a televised IPAC meeting to discuss concerns about discrepancies in the electoral roll. EC Chair Madam GHOne Mensah during the meeting noted that steps are being taken to correct the errors. In a press release on Tuesday, October 1, signed by the General Secretary of the party, Fifi Fiabi Kwete, the NDC highlighted several alarming issues that emerged during the meeting. This includes what the NDC described as a vulnerable EC IT system susceptible to data manipulation and infiltration. The opposition party warned that without addressing these flaws, the credibility of the 2024 December elections could be in jeopardy. But the Electoral Commission insists that the electoral register is largely credible and will be exhibited online for Ghanaians in the coming weeks. Here is the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam GHOne Mensah, speaking at the IPAC meeting.
And the Electoral Commission has employed both. As a commission, we have devoted the last few weeks to correct the discrepancies, and you will find that the provisional voters register today is different and more accurate than what was exhibited and provided to the parties in August 2024. It is important to note that the Commission, in cleaning the provisional voters register, employed a rigorous four-pronged approach as follows. Voters who visited our exhibition centers and who viewed their details via electronic media and detected errors with their details visited our district offices and had their issues rectified. Our exhibition officers in all our 40,000 plus exhibition centers scrutinized the register and reported discrepancies for correction by our IT team. Our field staff, namely our district officers and our regional officers, relied also on the register viewer, that is a soft copy of the register on their machines, to scrutinize the register and correct discrepancies. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, the Commission will in the coming days re-exhibit the provisional voters register online. We have developed an online platform to allow voters review their registration details at no cost to the voter. Additionally, we will provide a time period within which voters will be able to report on any discrepancies they have with their registration details in the districts where they registered and have them resolved.
Well, let's have a conversation on this. Joining me via Zoom is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Yesterday, you were at the IPAC meeting, correct?
Very well.
Okay. Satisfied with the response of the EC?
Well, our response is in the press statement we issued yesterday after the IPAC meeting. We held, first deliberated on the activities that went through at the IPAC and came out with this response. So clearly, our response is based on the admission of errors by the Electoral Commission themselves. Initially, they were adamant in admitting to some of the errors, but yesterday, clearly, they admitted to almost all the errors we identified in the provisional voter register they displayed and the one given to us. And we must say, Ghanaians must thank the NDC for going this path, for trying to protect our democracy. And yesterday, we were being vindicated with the posture of the Electoral Commission by admitting into this and also admitting that the IT system is vulnerable and it will need a serious second look at if we are going to actually have a credible IT department of the Electoral Commission. As to the register itself, yes, if you look at our press statement, we indicated we've accepted their point of re-exhibiting the register albeit online, and then we are recommending that they should add offline because of the rural folks. Most of them are illiterate; they cannot go online to check their names, and we are also demanding that there should be a stakeholder, an inter-party committee to examine the IT system of the Electoral Commission. So clearly, we think that we are vindicated as a political party for what happened yesterday.
Okay, but does that mean that you are abandoning your calls for an independent forensic audit?
Well, if you look at our statement, clearly maybe we have to go back to the statement once again. You will see that all that we're looking for is to have a credible register for the election. Maybe that's where there was a missing link in understanding the forensic audit we were demanding. And we're looking for a credible register, and we felt that the PVR as exhibited and given to us was not good for purpose. It could not be used for any purpose whatsoever. And then so our call for the audit of that register was in tandem. And clearly it was demonstrated yesterday that that PVR could not be used for any purpose. As we speak now, they abandoned that. They said they have revised it, a new one is up, and they are going to give us a new one. So clearly the NDC has been vindicated in terms of the audit we're asking for. We are yet to look at it, because we are not just taking their words. We will receive it, take time to scrutinize it, and they said if we have issues again, we should bring it on board, because it's provisional. Unlike our colleagues, our opponents who thought they were coming to receive a certified register and choreograph people to come there and sing their song and then praise the EC. But the people they were praising were rather also saying that we have problem with our register. And we think that we need assistance, and that's why we are bringing it back for another exhibition and for other political parties to also look at it again. So clearly, we are still on path with that. And that is why we said, in terms of the IT system, we are asking that a purpose stakeholder group plus inter-party IT experts should come together to examine the IT system. I mean, all along, we have not been asking that we, the NDC, want to go and look at their IT system or examine their IT system. That's not their point. But their admission yesterday that, yes, our system is vulnerable and anybody could get into it and get out and manipulate the data, as I've seen in the Kusiga episode. Clearly, we cannot bruise over this.
Okay, Doc, I mean, one of the things that the EC also said at the IPAC meeting was to do an online voter exhibition. You then suggested that they do in person at the various polling centers as well. Has that received any response?
Well, we issued a statement yesterday evening, and I strongly believe they have received our statement. They've looked at it, and I'm sure they will make meaning or give meaning to our statement. Clearly, we are helping them, we are assisting them so that we can have credible register. Whatever we are doing is in their interest, the Electoral Commission interest. Because if you hadn't seen these things, your guess is as good as mine. You see what would have happened. Invariably, we are going to have a very bad register. So Ghanaians should be thankful the NDC has eagle eyes to go through this, and the EC itself has admitted and accepted the challenge and said they are going to make sure that they now bring back another provisional. This is the first time. Don't forget that we are having to have a 2 provisional register. The first one done is not properly. They have to bring in another one. Exhibition done is not proper. We have to do another exhibition. And we think that if they take on board the offline exhibition too, it will go a long way in sustaining the credibility or transparency that the EC themselves are always looking for.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. On Election Hub also, we look at an option which may not have crossed your mind. None of the above. Well, yes, none of the above may be a typical option in multiple choice examination questions and surveys. But there's a group which is advocating for this in the general election. The none of the above is a group attempting to explore an option, enabling those dissatisfied with the presidential options to reject all of them and still cast a valid vote. The group's school of thoughts is this: if none of the above was an option and was introduced in this election, it will provide a valid way for disillusioned Ghanaians to recognize their frustration as legitimate, and that choosing not to vote for any candidate can be a deliberate and thoughtful decision. A none of the above option on the ballot is not a new concept in democracy, as India, Colombia, Spain, and Greece, and Nevada in the United States apparently offer this option. Cecil Sena Nutakwo is a member of the none of the above and joins us for a conversation. Cecil, thank you very much for joining us. What you are suggesting, are you serious about it, or is it some kind of a joke?
No, thank you for having me. We're very serious about it. It's not a joke. We're very serious people, and we don't have enough time for jokes.
Okay,
we believe that for our democracy to be complete, everybody's voice needs to be heard. And you cannot tell me that out of 30 million people, there are people whose voice is not none of their above. There definitely are. But because that option is not made available, we don't know how many percent of our population have no vote of confidence in all the people on the ballot, which is bad. We need to know that. So we're serious about this.
Okay, so Cecil, are you saying or suggesting that people vote none of the above because you had a preferred candidate who didn't make it to the ballot paper?
Now, that would be a fallacy. You know, this is about giving every Ghanaian an opportunity to express their civic and constitutional right to vote. So if my choice or my perception or my reality is that none of the people on the ballot represent my desires and aspiration as a Ghanaian, I should have the opportunity to express that civil right to vote none of the above. And that makes it a legal vote.
Okay.
Instead of trying to put me to stay away,
okay,
where I don't get to exercise my civic rights.
Okay, so Cecil, you There are 13 presidential candidates on the ballot paper. You don't believe that any of them at all can lead the country. That is one point that you're making. And on the other hand, you talk about civic responsibility, and you know that you have a responsibility to make a decision to vote on who leads you. When you vote for none of the above option, and assuming that all 33 million Ghanaians decide to take the none of the above options, who do you expect to govern us?
That shouldn't be a problem. That's actually a good thing. Now, let me clarify this, right? I am not saying I don't have confidence in any of the 13. What I am saying is that for our democracy to be true and fair and a complete democracy, there must be the option for none of the above. Without that option, our democracy is incomplete. That's the position we are holding here. So, if Ghanaians decide that they don't have confidence in any of the 13 currently on the ballot, and they go for none of the above, I think that would be a profound statement that we need, and the international community needs to know, that this group of people, these citizens, prefer new sets of individuals or candidates to lead them. And I think that's very profound. And that is what we miss today. Since 1992, we've not had the option for people who have lost confidence in their leaders to express that in a legitimate way. I believe that makes our democracy incomplete. We're practicing an incomplete democracy because we are not giving people who do not have confidence in the current scope or crop of leadership to express that legally, and then they have to resort to riot, protest, violence. That's not important.
So let me ask you.
Let me express that they don't believe in the leadership structures we have anymore, so they go and exercise their civic right and vote none of the above. If that becomes the majority, that's a strong statement. That sends a signal to the political elites that there is a way to kick all of them out when the citizens decide they've lost confidence in them. Today, we don't have any legal way to say goodbye to all the elites or the political crops that we have today, except resorting to what? Protest, riot, violence, which is not good for any civil society. So give us the option to express our vote of no confidence in a legal and peaceful manner by showing that we're civic responsible.
So, Cecil, did you vote 4 years ago?
No, please.
Because there was none of the above on the ballot.
I didn't have confidence in anybody that they could actually take Ghana forward.
Are you happy? Are you happy that you didn't make a determination that your voice was not heard in deciding who leads the country? Is that patriotic for you?
I am not happy about that. I am not happy about that at all. I feel disenfranchised. I feel the country doesn't make room for me. I feel the constitution has turned a blind hand on me and how I feel. I'm an entrepreneur. I do a lot for this country. And not giving me the opportunity to express how I feel this country should go, the direction in which I feel this country should go, makes me feel less of a Ghanaian. So please, there might be millions of me out there. Give us that opportunity to tell the world and Ghanaians that some percentage of our population have lost complete confidence in the current setup of how we are led. So that they'll go and rethink the various political parties, they'll rethink and present people who deserve our votes.
Thank you very much, Cecil. Sena Lutako is a member of a certain group called None of the Above. What they want, I honestly don't understand. But yeah, still on Election Hub. As the campaign season intensifies ahead of the December 7 elections, the battle for votes is not only taking place on the streets through traditional methods, but also unconventionally through online platforms. Now, with social media now an integral part of everyday life, political parties are increasingly turning to a new breed of campaigners, social media influencers, with the trends from X, formerly Twitter, to TikTok challenges. These digital personalities are being used to sway the opinions of young, tech-savvy voters who are more likely to engage with content from their favorite online figures than the normal political messaging. To assess the actual impact we speak with a few young people on the Accra Technical University campus.
Several young people have voiced their opinions about how political parties are now using social media to connect with voters, particularly young ones. Additionally, some people expressed their thoughts on how social media has affected their choice of candidate in the upcoming election. Others, on the other hand, say that social media had no influence on their voting decisions. To get their thoughts, we spoke with a few young people on the Accra Technical University campus. Some claim that social media campaigns have been beneficial in bringing them closer to the government. Regarding influencing voters, some claim that online campaigns have influenced them, while others claim it has not affected their choice of candidate.
If they want to reach their youth, it's a good initiative for them to use social media. But then I haven't really seen that. I'm not satisfied with the way, the country is being ruled by the present government, okay? And I have no hope in the next government too.
I've been seeing it on TikTok and then other social media handles. But I think it's actually working, especially for Cheddar. Yeah, he's giving a great impact into the youth, like through the media, because I don't even see him. Okay, I see his campaigns outside and stuff, but most of his ideas and stuff got to the youth through the media. So I think it's working.
Most of us, we don't even pay attention to like news on televisions and all that. We are mostly we use our phones a lot, like going to Twitter, WhatsApp, and all those things. And when you go there, you see all these things over there that make us like find interest in what they are doing, like sometimes in politics.
This has not influenced my decision as a youth because I know what I'm doing and I've seen a lot, so I know who I'm voting for. Not the social media is going to influence me in voting.
As the influence of social media continues to grow, political parties are recognizing the power of digital platforms in shaping voter opinions, particularly among younger demographics. By leveraging social media influencers, campaigners are tapping into a more engaging and relatable way to connect with voters, signaling a shift in how political messaging is delivered in the digital age. The success of this strategy will likely shape future campaigns as the role of online influencers becomes even more critical in the battle for votes.
And that will be it for our Election Hub stories today. Well, the YEA has released a statement following agitations on social media about the amount of money that Zoomlion workers are paid. Imagine, these workers are paid 250 Ghana cedis every month. And on top of that, that 250 Ghana cedis isn't coming. They owed arrears. And so I am actually going to start a campaign to demand better working salary for the workers of Zoomlion. But there's a statement by YEA because it's the Youth Employment Agency that procured the services of Zoomlion, the company itself. And this statement is from the board chair that proposal to suspend management services agreement between the Youth Employment Agencies and Mesa Zoomlion Ghana Limited. Now, at a meeting held on Wednesday, May 29, 2024, the board of the agency proposed some amendments to the management services agreement between YEA and Zoomlion. In a letter dated 31st May 2024, the agency sent the proposal to Zoomlion for the acceptance or otherwise. At the meetings held on 8 July in person and 26 July virtual, Zoomlion vehemently opposed the proposal for the agency to take over the payments of the beneficiary's allowance upon the expiration of the 6 months extension period and strongly insisted that the agency renews the contract to enable them secure credit facilities from financial institutions before beneficiaries of the module will be paid their outstanding allowances. Respectfully, it must be highlighted that Zoomlion has failed to pay beneficiaries allowances for over 1 year, resulting in some beneficiaries engaging in strike actions and picketing around some regional and district offices of the agency to demand for their outstanding monthly allowance. Pursuant to the above, management humbly proposes that the module be suspended forthwith, with the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to take over the cleaning of the streets till a clear direction on the module is sought. So listen, imagine that your mother, your father works with Zoomlion. They're being paid 250 Ghana cedis a month. 250 Ghana cedis a month. Do you know how much it costs to sit in a VIP bus from Accra to Kumasi? That's about 120 Ghana cedis. So imagine that my mother or my father lives in Kumasi, I live in Kumasi, and my parents work here, and they work with Zoomlion as sweepers and cleaners. They keep our streets clean. They pick our refuse, and they are paid 250 Ghana cedis. By the time they bought a VIP bus to Kumasi to come and visit me if I was in school, they are left with 10 Ghana cedis to come back, because in and out will be 240 Ghana cedis. That is what we are dealing with, and that is what these people are paid. And the worst part of it is that for 1 year they haven't been paid the 250 Ghana cedis. I don't know how anybody is able to manage with that. But yes, so the YEA has responded. Stay with me. After the break, we'll bring you more. On business, Ghana's government has reiterated its commitment to dealing with the devastating effects of illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. According to the government, no stone will be left unturned in dealing with the menace, as several terrorist groups have been funded with proceeds from illegal mining in the Sahel region. This revelation was made at the ongoing West Africa Mining and Security Conference by the Australian High Commission. Here's the story.
The conference is aimed at discussing the way forward in dealing with increasing activities of terrorist groups in the Sahel region. It attracted participants from diverse backgrounds interested in dealing with the emerging threats. Addressing the gathering, Director of Intelligence Analysis at the National Security Ministry, Victoria Sam, expressed government's concern about the growing trend of terrorism in the sub-region, citing illegal mining as a major funding source.
Mining assets and convoys transporting vital resources are prime targets. Despite the presence of security escorts, militant groups remain undeterred, posing a constant threat to mining operations. As terrorism spreads into littoral states, it has become evident that no country in the region is immune. Furthermore, there is significant evidence that these groups are exploring illegal mining sectors to fund their activities, even in countries where they are not yet operating openly. Ghana in particular is on high alert and continues to implement a range of measures to fortify its security posture against potential incursions.
Australian High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Bernice Owen-Jones, underscored the relevance of the conference, noting the rapid evolving nature of security threat to mining investment across the region.
It is now, I would say, an international conference, and it provides a forum to share best security practices and contingency planning on a very rapidly evolving security situation in the Sahel and also in the coastal states.
And that's it for business. But coming up next is sport news with Mrs. Now, thanks for joining me here on Sports Brief. My name is Monica Bukari. The Confederation of African Football CAF has approved the Accra Sports Stadium to host the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifier between Ghana and Sudan. The Black Stars faced Sudan on match day 3 of the qualifying series. CAF inspected both the Cape Coast Stadium and the Accra Sports Stadium over the weekend before eventually turning down the former. A statement from CAF on approval reads, following a comprehensive review of the reports of the CAF independent inspection regarding the Cape Coast Stadium and the Accra Sports Stadium, we are pleased to inform you that the Accra Sports Stadium has been approved to host AFCON qualifiers for Morocco 2025. Specifically, it will host Group F game. The encounter between Ghana and Sudan is scheduled for October 11, 2024. Meanwhile, head coach of the Black Stars, Otto Addo, is set to name his squad this week for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifying game against Sudan. The Black Stars will host Sudan in the first leg on Friday, October 11, with a return encounter to be held in 3 days' time in Niger. There is more in this following report.
Coach Otto Addo has another mandate that awaits him in a bid to secure Ghana's qualification for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations after recording just 1 point in 2 games played so far against Angola and Niger. After a rocky start to their campaign, Coach Otto Addo is expected to call up a strong squad including key players like Thomas Partey, Jordan Ayew, Iñaki Williams, Antoine Semenyo and Alexander Jiku. Ghana urgently needs points to improve their chances of securing qualification after a tough start, and the likes of defender Gideon Mensah, Ernest Nuama and Alexander Jiku all making returns from injury is a great boost for Coach Otto Addo, who might consider naming them in his squad to beef up a strong team for the task that awaits him. Currently third in the group with just 1 point, the Black Stars will face Sudan at home on Friday, October 11, before traveling to Libya for the second leg on October 14 on Monday. The Black Stars remain focused on their long-term goal of securing their 5th AFCON title next year in Morocco.
Now, for more sport, do join us here on GHOne TV and Star FM at 1 p.m. My name is Monica Bukari. The Ghana Health Service, in collaboration with the Health Ministry, has officially launched the 2024 immunization campaign. The launch is aimed at creating awareness for parents to avail the award to be vaccinated as the COVID-19 pandemic caused the mortality rate low.
The launch is a vital tool to ensure that no child is left behind. The objective of the 2024 ACY Measles Rubella campaign is to achieve coverage of 95% and above for the measles rubella vaccine. The Ghana Health Service target is to vaccinate over 5 million children aged between 9 and 59 months in all 16 regions of the country, with the aim to reduce measles and rubella disease by ensuring that all eligible children receive this vaccine, the chain of measles rubella transmission, and avoid potential outbreaks. The ministry also wished to boost vitamin A uptake alongside the vaccinations. As a result, Ghana is at risk of outbreak of some vaccine-preventable diseases such as measles and rubella, which has emerged in parts of the world. The vaccination is starting from 2nd to 6th October 2024 across the country.
And that's it for the news. On behalf of the entire team, led by Mrs. Enin, thank you so much for watching. The news team will be back at 6:30 with News Tonight. I am Serwaa Amihere. Have a good afternoon.